Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
So I remembered something earlier today, and I don't know if I had a chance to actually tell you about this. It was a couple of months ago, but I just forgot about it. I had a talk with Pop-Up. I don't know, I've just never heard him say some of these things before. I don't know how this came up, but like, do you think about, things after this? Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
So I remembered something earlier today, and I don't know if I had a chance to actually tell you about this. It was a couple of months ago, but I just forgot about it. I had a talk with Pop-Up around the holidays, the Jewish holidays earlier this year. I'm sorry. I know I got you excited. I say the wrong words again. He's like, ah. I had a talk with Pop-Up about like a really, really deep talk and things that like I've never actually talked with him about. Like, and I'll tell you what I said.
Oh, okay.
I know this might be a little long-winded, but it, I don't know, I've just never heard him say some of these things before that he talked about. So I was sitting in one of the rooms upstairs with him. We were talking about, I don't know, I've just always wanted to ask him this. We were sitting down, and I said to him, I was like, Pop-Up, and like, Pop-Up's 93, right? 93, 94?
93.
93. And I was like, I don't know how this came up, but like, do you think about, things after this? Like what do you think about when it comes to, like the idea of like honestly having more time of your life, a real thing behind you than years in front of you? It's a hard question. It's hard to talk to him about. I don't know. It's one of those things that like I look back and like I wish I had asked Nana. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just,
what would you ask? Are you afraid of dying?
I feel like it's valuing the perspective of life from someone who is miles and miles ahead of it, and like, is just seeing the world in a different way. I'm 27 and he is 93. Like, what a difference of life experience, and it's uncomfortable to talk about. No one ever wants to talk about that kind of thing. No one ever wants to talk about death, dying, end of life, any of that stuff. You okay? I'm sorry. I know this is heavy, dude. But it's good that you're listening to this too. It's good talk, family talk, honest talk. Family. Does he think about things after? Does he think about the idea of dying? I've always been terrified to ask him something like this. But like I've always been curious, the fact that, I would never rather ask these kind of questions to my grandfather now than regret not talking to him about like the real stuff, the deep human stuff later on.
Why are you so curious? Why do you feel like you want to ask him that?
Because I love him. He's my grandfather, and I was just curious about, what he thinks about in this stage of his life, with where he is and like, what he thinks about with the family and, and just everything what does he think about heading, like, being at this point, It was so cool. He was so cool about it. He was just like, he sat down and he said to me that like he's not afraid, first of all. It's just wild to hear, because I was like, I was saying to him, for me, it's like the idea of anything like that happening is so impossible. You know what I mean? Like that, like I'm never going to. Like the life is never going to end for me. Do you know what I mean though? The idea that it's just like, it's such a foreign idea. And I understand like the idea of like being young and like thinking that, you have all the time in the world. But like I was like, he's not afraid. He said that he's not afraid, and he said that he doesn't think about it in that way, you know, he's so like content. He doesn't have regrets. You know, he doesn't think about things in the past, like if anything, like, you know, like a year, like, you know, like ex-girlfriends before Nana and stuff like that. Like he said that he was like, if he really thinks about it, 70, 80 years ago, he remembers, you know, if he really thinks about who it was, but he doesn't really, you know, and it's just like, there's something like so comforting in the idea of like, you know, what are the things that actually matter at the end? He was like, he has a family that loves him. Family, right? Right? He has like such a strong family that he built with Nana, and just like, I don't know, it's I don't know. I just wanted to tell you about it because I don't know if this is stuff that you've ever thought about talking to him about. I hope you're not mad that I talked to him about this.
I mean, it's like super brave of you to ask him. The sisters and I, you know, shy away from all that kind of stuff, probably because, you know, it's just the thought of him not physically being here, you know, is something that we don't want to think about. You know, I think it was traumatizing enough when Nana passed. What I do think a lot about is, you know, like when Nana died, it felt like, you know, here we have a core family of 5, you know, not our immediate family, but my sister, you know, my sisters, myself, and Nana and pop up, and, you know, and then all of a sudden we're like 4, you know, with like this whole, you know, and then to think about, you know, then 3, you know, you get fleeting thoughts that pop in your mind, and you sort of shake your head and say, no, I'm not going to think about this. For me, you know, both of them have been compasses, you know, in my life, certainly for, I think, everyone's life in different ways, but, you know, just knowing, like, I don't have to see pop up every day, you know, but just knowing that he's physically here brings a lot of comfort. More about sort of the quality of the time that we're going to spend with each other. Both of them would rather, you know, everyone think about, you know, what's going on now, you know, what's everybody doing, you know, where are you going, what happened in your day and everything, living life as opposed to focusing on that. He's had a super long life and fulfilled life, and, you know, maybe he'll, you know, he's Yoda. Maybe he'll live another 800 years.
Right.
So,
that's right.
And be the Jedi Master that we all think he is. It means the world that, you know, he gets to see all the things that, you know, you're doing, you know, that cousins are doing, whether it's graduations, filmmaking, acting, thriving that he's doing, and, you know, these are all really positive things that we know bring a lot of joy to him, and that makes us, you know, very, very happy. Personally, I mean, I can't even think of the world sort of like without him. I mean, you know, all of you guys and the rest of the family for, you know, support and advice and guidance and that kind of stuff, you know. But it's different, you know, than having your parents who have sort of raised you and, you know, provide you advice in all kinds of whatever situations and such. So, I don't know. It's a long-winded answer, probably going nowhere or whatever. No. It's like I said, it's brave of you to ask him about that.
I don't know if it ever gets lighter in this way. With what you and Mom are to me, and to Kira and to Gabe, I just like, I can't picture, you know, like being at what you were just saying, like, you know, like I just can't picture that either. I mean, I know it's like a difference, like, you know, you're in your 50s versus like me in my 20s. Like, I'm not gonna want to picture that, but like, I just can't.
And I don't think, you know, and you don't have to. He's out there toting the flag, you know, showing us the way and what have you, and, you know,
winter warlock that he is.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we could sit here and talk for years and years, and you know, it's not going to just, you know, it's not going to assuage the pain of, you know, when that time does come and what have you. But
I'll never forget laying on, like, just sitting there though with him and talking about this. Never forget that.
It's good that we talk about it and that sort of stuff, and, you know, as you know. As we talked about, I'll be stepping into the Force one day, as I see it.
Yoda.
So, and
You're my Yoda.
I'll be the Yoda. You can be Yoda baby. What do you think? Good.